So, loading film into a 35mm camera. First of all, we start by opening the camera. And when you open the camera, first of all, you see if it's rewinding. If there's a lot of resistance here, you should not push hard, because it means that there's a film. You need to push the rewind button. Pushing the rewind button will make it easy to rewind film. And once the film is rewinded, let's see here, we open with the opening lock. So on this camera, you push this up and you push it further. That moves the locking mechanism, so like so. Can't open. You push it up and then you can open. So there's two different ways how people do this. Some load the film here first and then move the film over here, and some people set the film here and then move it about. So it's a question of opinion. Some people do it one way, some people do it the other way. And we should see here. Take one picture. Let's see here if it loads. So it seems to be loading now, and it's also biting onto these ones here. That is good. And it's actually easy to false load the camera. And a false load is basically you put the film here and it seems to be working. You close the camera too early and you miss that the film is not actually biting on, and then it might unload on the first images, so you get no pictures. That kind of sucks. So once you have taken your first test image, just press the shutter. You can do like this, like you move the rewind button a couple of rotations, and there you will be feeling that there's resistance here. It's impossible to move it without force. So now we should be able to progress the film. So it's in the start position. Take one image, and it's still in the start position. And if you look here, this should be rotating. So it's rotating because the film is moving forward. So when we see it rotating, we know it's working. And once more, and there it is on the first image. On this camera, the first image is indicated by a small white dot followed by number 2. On some cameras it will be 0 or a 1 to indicate the start of the film, but now it's ready for picture taking. But I'm actually just going to unload the film. So if we want to rewind the film, we move it like so to rewind, and then we feel loss of resistance. The film is completely stretched out and it's refusing to rewind. And This is because we need to push the rewind safety knob. So we pushed it, it's inserted, and now we can feel that you can actually rewind the film. There is some resistance, but much less resistance. So don't use too much force, just slightly move it around. Yeah, and we can kind of feel the film moving along with us. And there we heard it loosen. So if you're not planning to use the film like I'm doing a demo purpose, you can just move it around a couple of rotations when you feel that it's loose. But I'm actually going to open it up. Like so. There it is. So you would typically have it rotated further back. And push the knob up again to eject the film. So, another camera, same principle, safety knob there. When the safety knob is turned in, we can rewind. This one's open in the classical manner. And safety on. This one will rewind. And now it will not rewind. So, slightly more exotic camera. So in principle, can rewind without force. Any force means that there's no film inside. And this one opens up by pressing on both sides like so. So press like so to open. And yeah, so that's a bit confusing. That's a rewind safety knob. And when held in, can rewind. And otherwise it will get stuck. So push in over there and you can rewind. Push in and you can rewind. Rewind like so. And push that up to be able to remove the film. And the shutter button on this is really odd design. The shutter button is in the front. And once we have pressed the shutter, we can progress the film. And there we see it seems to bite on. Press this one down, like so. Close. And we put it rewind as much as possible. And there we feel force. So when we feel force, it means that the film is stretched. And take one image. And we see that when we move this lever forward, we also see that the film side is revolving. And we want to rewind the film. We press the safety. And since we're pressing the safety over here, we can rewind the film. A little bit of force, but not too much. So this is a new one for me. It's very, very much stuck. Let's see if we open here. Let's see what happened. Yeah. So on this camera, it actually gets stuck on this. Not so sure if you see it, but there's a little bit of safety over here. So this one will get completely stuck when the film is... Yeah, so I use too much force. Right, so on this camera, when you feel it's getting stuck, it really means that the film is stuck and you shouldn't use more force. So that was that little thing there, I used too much force. So film breaks much easier than you actually think it will do. It's very... The film is actually very easy to tear. You can see here I didn't use much force and there's small damage on the film. So, open camera. Load film. Yes. Rewind. And you feel force. When you feel force, it means that there's film. The film is refusing to be stretched anymore. You press the safety. And you can rewind some more. So, yet another old camera. So this one is really interesting because shutter, or the cocking mechanism, is below the camera. And this one is the trigger. I do believe that is the reload safety. And I think this is the rewind. Yeah, this ought to be the rewind. Should feel force there. And this one opens like so. Press that little button, so the button is hidden. Press like so to open. So now it's completely locked, and push that button and now it's unlocked. So loading film. Insert like so. So this one is similar to the other camera, being that it actually has a small place there for locking onto the film. just gonna lazy load it like that. Probably should stick it a little bit further in, but what the hell. So press shutter. Yeah, and that was a clear false load. It was. So you really want to avoid false loads, because you will get very sad if you take a lot of images and in the end none of them actually got stored. Yeah, so it seems to be loading fine. Can close it like so. Want it to so like so, and we close. So, wanting to unload, we can see here, move rewind, and there we start feeling that there's some resistance. And upon feeling resistance, we press the rewind safety. So now we are allowed to rewind. And now we feel that there is resistance, but it's allowing us to rewind. Some force required, not much. So there I feel it's stopping, and on these cameras, this camera as well as this camera, that it's again refusing means that it is in the most stretch out position. So we go like so, press there. It's so easy to do with one hand. So, yeah, and there it was unloaded, and like so.
Hans till Christian.
Vi går ut och tittar igen.
Så.